Ladies and gentlemen, now it's too late. Oops.
I didn't put on my jacket! God damn it, man. Already ruined the show because I didn't have my jacket on, dude.
Do you want to start over?
No, because we only have like 20 minutes before the guest is on, and that's going to be like a minute, and it's all the whole thing. I thought I had somebody to remind me to put my jacket on, but they must have had tonight off.
We should get a person.
Yeah, get a person. All right. Anyway, what were we doing?
Start of the show.
Oh, we're on. Oh, hey, hey, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of It's Too Late. I am your host, Alan Mosley, joined as always by the #1 producer in late night. It's Dave Willimowski. Dave, how are you doing?
Oh, it just stopped. Okay. Hold on. Stop. Okay. I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I got serenaded by that song when I was finishing up work earlier today. I don't know if you had that experience as well. I heard that was going around.
Oh yeah, I actually had my 3M Bluetooth muffs on, so it was I was operating a crane, and then it's just right in my ear. I'm like, oh, there it is.
Yeah. You know what the worst part is let me tell you this. So I do a job where I'm on the road a lot, and the company, out of some misguided attempt at safety, they have that little program on the phone where if your car's in motion, you can't access the screen.
Oh, neat.
But if I can't access the screen, so I'm just it just keeps going. Can't stop it. I literally had to pull off the side of the road, just slam on my brakes, and just trying to
people squealing around you.
They almost lost a company phone today. That's all I'm saying. Oh my God. Tragic news this past week, ladies and gentlemen. The nation is reacting to the death of one Senator Dianne Feinstein of California. Do we have a picture of Dianne Feinstein?
Oh yeah, I think we just got one. Oh. That's a real current one.
Seems like she's already been there for a while. I don't know. Seems a little overdone.
She doesn't look much different. I mean,
yeah, but the thing is, and here's the thing, is that, don't get me wrong, I'm always going to celebrate when one of these monsters is 6 feet under. But it kind of got me to thinking, because and actually, you know what? I'm gonna start by asking you a super loaded theological question to start off the show, so that way, it's already deer in the headlights.
Fantastic.
Do you believe in hell?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What? Oh, definitely. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So all right. So what is hell then? Does it look like that, or is it something else?
I think it's just the absence of God, because you still have sin on you. You can't be around God, so that's hell.
Yeah, but I live here, I already know what that's like. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So wait, hold on. Yeah. Because the thing is that for most time, because look, I grew up in the South, so you got your Southern Baptists and your Church of Christ people. They would answer the question the same as you, but in their hearts, they're thinking everyone I don't like is going to burn for eternity. That's what they're thinking, Yeah. But in all seriousness, this is not totally a joke. I know we're laughing at the concept of people burning in hellfire for all time, but as funny as that may be,
pretty tragic.
It got me to thinking, for most of my life, I've never really believed in hell. And definitely not in that sense. Because in my mind, for me, the concept was, it's like looking at it from the opposite perspective. Like, if I go to heaven, and I know that's a real big if, but if I go to heaven, but I get there and people that I care about are not there, and that leads me to conclude that they're in a different place.
That's a tricky one.
Then I'm not going to be happy the way they say you're supposed to be happy. Because I wouldn't want that for people that I thought I was going to get to go see. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I used to have those questions.
And so because of that, I then got to thinking, well, that can't be right then. Like that can't be. And then I thought, but then when you get older, you start to think, like, why do I want there to be a hell? Because on the one hand, I thought, well, I don't want there to be one because that's really bad, and I don't want people to go there that I would like to, hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to go down there and hang out with them. But
no.
but on the other hand, do you think that people have a need to want to believe there is a hell because they want to believe that there's going to be punishment for people who seemingly don't get punished here? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's got to be a thing.
Yeah, and so I'm really torn between these two different positions. Because on the one hand, I think this is all horse shit anyway, right? Like, who gives a fuck? And so there's no hell. But on the other hand, that lady ought to burn.
There should be something.
Yeah, like John McCain, that's where he is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, other than just being a decomposed body in the soil, he should his internal soul should be in there. But it's like pick one. You either don't believe that that's true, or you have the need for people to face consequences for their actions, even though in our world they never faced those consequences. Now, and I know, like you and I think all it takes is one hero for a tyrant to face consequences for their actions. But in reality, like take John McCain, for instance, since we brought him up. Like, I know he died of a brain tumor, and I'm sure the last days of his life weren't super pleasant, but he got to live a long life where he was a giant fucking asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, because we'll see, now I was just about to say the word and I stopped myself. Now you start getting into what's fair. Ooh. See, that's a whole other thing right there. What's fair? Well, that's not fair.
Life ain't fair.
Yeah, life. Yeah, but what about the afterlife?
Oh, I hope not.
Well, okay. Oh, you hope not. So you believe it is, but you hope it's not. Okay.
we get in the whole "I hope I never get what I deserve" thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But all of us hope you do get what you deserve.
Oh, that ain't nice.
Well, depends on the person, I guess. So I don't know. I guess all I'm saying is that I find myself in a weird gray area where, by and large, I don't believe in any of that BS. But I still make the same jokes of, oh yeah, that guy, he's gonna burn in hell, but then it's like, are you a bad person for wanting that?
Kinda. Wait a minute.
I mean, are you a bad person for wanting Hitler to burn in hell?
That's I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
because I think some people would say that you are. Because if you believe that hell is as bad as you think it is, then to wish that upon anyone is the worst thing.
Literally, yeah.
Literally, not figuratively. But those same people will be sitting in traffic and have someone cut them off and say, I hope that guy burns in hell. So I don't know. I'm just, everybody's got their own line to cross. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how we got into talking about this. The whole monologue's over now.
Oh,
see
man.
that? Look at that. It's over.
Oh yeah, cool.
All right. Well, okay. Well, real quick. So Kevin McCarthy, he's not the Speaker of the House anymore. Matt Gaetz, he was the one who introduced the motion because he doesn't like him. Hey, do we have a picture of Kevin McCarthy? And there he is. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, there he is.
Wait. Oh, that whole.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's all I have to say about that, guys. We're gonna be back with the meme of the week and the viewer mail right after this commercial break. Don't go away.
It's cookie time.
The current year will bring you much happiness. We know that's fucking horseshit, don't we, Dave?
Oh,
that's bullshit.
From here on out, maybe.
It doesn't say that.
Couple months.
No, there's no asterisk on the goddamn.
All
right. Well, we know those are bullshit now too, don't we?
I'm starting to think these things aren't true.
Yeah, I hope those fortune cookies go to hell. All right. I was going to talk about Fox and Sons Coffee since Steve is here, but I actually can't talk about Fox and Sons Coffee in this segment because there's a whole thing coming up later in the show where we talk about Fox and Sons Coffee. And I'll have you know, and Steve's going to love me for this, the sniff hole is catching on.
It is, yes.
I have now been out in the wild and had 2 people say, oh, yeah, they've got a little sniff hole on the back.
Yeah, go around back. Check out the sniff hole.
Yep. Hey, Dave, you ever been...
Yeah.
Right, hey, Dave.
Yes, Alan.
What time is it?
It's time for meme of the week.
Did you just have a stroke right there?
Oh, I didn't see this yet.
I wonder which politician will croak next. Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
I actually couldn't find a good one. I made that one because I couldn't find a good meme of the week for this week. Yeah.
Oh, it's an original.
But we do have an animated bonus meme of the week. Check it out.
Struggle is real.
Yeah. I love you too, Steve. All right. But let me tell you about another one of tonight's sponsors. That is the Tennessee Hot Sauce Company, which you can find at tnhotsauceco.com. If you use promo code It's Too Late, you get 10% off your entire order.
Nice.
I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Maybe. Mm-hmm. You should probably try it. This is, I actually pulled out my favorite tonight. This is the garlic habanero. Oh yeah, I love garlic. Can we get a shot of that, or am I just holding it up like a goddamn retard for my own? Okay, here we go. Yeah, there it is. Listen to this though. It has 0 calories per serving. This is void juice. It is neither existing or non-existing in our realm.
And that's one serving you're holding too.
Yeah, this is one serving. Yeah, that's right. You just I wonder if you could shotgun a glass bottle.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
you might be able to drill it, but then probably get some glass.
If you were a real man, you could do it.
Probably.
And hot sauce too, so the hot sauce going over your open wounds from the glass. Be fucking sick. That sounds like something they would do on Jackass. Is shotgun glass bottles of hot sauce.
Hot sauce. I'll send him a message.
Yeah. So anyway, it's Tennessee Hot Sauce Company, tnhotsauceco.com, promo code It's Too Late. I should probably ask Danny if that still works.
Or if you should shotgun glass bottles of hot sauce.
Yeah.
He might know.
He would probably give me a suggestion of which flavor.
Oh, yeah.
Which one to do, yeah.
What to pair it with.
Okay, we've got 4.5 minutes, Dave.
Okay,
to answer the viewer mail. Let's do it. The hell? Oh. I imagine you were looking for the viewer mail button, but we're here now, so it's
I
fine.
figured. Hello.
Hey, fella, did you hear the news about Dianne Feinstein?
Oh, yeah, that's tragic.
Oh, so you think she was a good lady?
No, I was just watching the news, and they said it was tragic. Okay.
Tell you what, mister, I hope she's burning in hell.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, or we're just done? You think you're just the director of the show now? You, Dave. All right. So anyway, you can't just change bits midstream.
I don't know. I felt like it's a joke.
And here I was in the beginning of the show saying you've been doing such a good job lately that we haven't used this button. Yeah. Yeah. This is my fault. If I hadn't built you up, then this wouldn't have happened. Yeah, it's my fault.
I'm off the chain.
All right. I guess I'm going to pull up the goddamn viewer mail. All right, we went from having 4.5 minutes to do the segment to 3 minutes. All right, here we go. Jonathan Garenza writes, Dear Alan and Dave, what is your ideal amount of sleep? Dave? Ideal.
Ooh.
Not what you normally get. Your ideal amount of sleep.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, ideally, I'd like to get, I think 7 hours. I feel like if I do 8 hours, that's too much. And 7 hours, I've done it before, and that felt really nice. But not the 4 or 5 hours that I average right now. That's not ideal.
Yeah, I've done it before for 7 hours. Let's see.
It's too long.
Brian Johnson, for you maybe. Brian Johnson writes, Dear Alan and Dave, what rude driving behavior do you dislike the most? We could spend all night talking about this one. Jesus Christ.
I didn't leave us enough time.
Okay, this is one of my new pet peeves. I know that there's people out there that like to drive faster than other people. Look, it's how it is. Herp, derp, speed limit's a suggestion, whatever. But what is the point of being like in a one lane and riding someone else, like you're tailgating someone because you don't like how fast they're going, but there's traffic in front of them? Like, where do you expect them to go?
Just aggressively right up on your tail.
Every time I'm in traffic, but someone's riding my bumper, I think in my headcanon, they're saying, I wish you'd never been born. You know? Like, if I was only 16 feet further down the road, I'd make it to my meeting on time. Yeah. I want to just... See, this is why I don't carry, by the way. On a totally random side note, sometimes people will say, hey, Alan, you seem to be into guns. What's your daily carry? And I say nothing, because I can't trust myself. You know me.
any given day.
Yeah, so I can't... All right. What about you, Dave? What's your biggest driving pet peeve?
I think it's one of the things that's really big around here is that nobody wants to let anybody in front of them. Like it's like an ego thing. Like even if they're going faster than you and you see that they're kind of in a hurry for something and you're just kind of taking your time, if they think that you're going to pull in front of them, they'll just start speeding up until they get close enough where that you can't get in. And it's the weirdest thing.
It's because people treat it like it's like a competition, like a race.
Yeah, like qualifying for Talladega.
Well, I saw somebody who wrote recently, and this is related to that everyone going slower than me are slow pieces of shit that need to get off the road, and everyone going faster than me is a speed demon who's going to get killed, and I'm going to laugh at him.
Yeah,
I'm driving the exact speed that everyone should go. But that's how people's brains work, though. And that's why we can't. That's why we can't have nice things.
No.
Tyler says the driving pet peeve is women, and Andy says nice studio. Thanks, man.
Oh,
I'm glad somebody appreciates what we do around here.
Yeah, put a lot of work into the aesthetics.
I was gonna say it sure hell isn't the rest of you people, but actually we got a bunch of gift subs and stuff, so now I feel kind of bad about. Sorry.
Your audience.
Andrew Avery writes, Dear Alan and Dave, if you bought a reversible jacket, would you let us know how it turned out?
Oh, that'd be cool. Never had a reversible jacket.
I'm going to give that one a 7. I think that's pretty sharp. Yeah.
Generous.
Yeah. You don't agree?
No, I'm just saying you're being generous today.
You think that's too generous, so you're saying that you didn't like it as much.
No, I loved it. I thought it was great.
You should burn in hell for not liking it.
Deserve it.
Yeah.
Deserve it.
Ryan Seifert writes, Dear Alan and Dave, how disappointed were you when you realized that the emergency alerts on your phone were only a test?
This one? Is this one a test?
See, you just have to get like me, where there's no life left, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Then that stuff just rolls off of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Brian says he's making stuff.
All the people that turned off their phones today have to listen to it over and over.
Yeah. All right, and finally this evening, Mary Lynn Willimowski writes, Dear Alan and Dave, how old were you when you first shaved your face?
Oh. There goes Mary again, trying to make me remember something.
Yeah. I don't know. It kind of makes me uncomfortable. Like Mary's trying to get some rather intimate details of my young life.
Now, when did you hit puberty, Alan?
Yeah. You and Mary should have a talk later after the show, I think. Or during the show.
Yeah, we can.
Actually, have Mary come down. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get this straightened out.
All right. Okay. I mean, hell, I don't know. I mean, when you first start to grow hair, you're like, I'm a man, so you don't shave.
Yeah, you don't want to shave. Yeah, you want to keep every last follicle.
Yeah, but then around the time you're like 15 or 16, you start to have a little bit more self-awareness about how you look, and you look in the mirror and you realize you look like a pedophile, and you're like, I better shave.
Yeah.
Better shave
patches.
Yeah, look like a fucking retard. So you don't have an answer?
No.
Just guess.
No, I don't know what age that was. 16.
Okay, all right, that's fun. It's a lie, but that's fun. Okay,
it is.
I know you. All right,
I got hairy late in life.
All right, guys, we're gonna be back with tonight's guest, Tyler Janke, right after this commercial break. Don't go away. Your ad could be playing right now, reaching thousands of potential customers. Sadly, it's not, but it could be. Find out how to be an advertised sponsor for It's Too Late with Alan Mosley. Email us at info@alanmosley.tv. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Our guest this evening is a family law attorney. Jesus, can we stop getting goddamn blood-sucking lawyers on this? All right. He is an avid cyclist and the host of the Libertarian podcast review, consuming spectrum-fueled content so that you don't have to. Tyler Janke, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alan. Yeah, the blood-sucking attorney part, it hits home, but it makes me feel like I'm welcome here, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, we already have like an official legal expert if it's too late, so we will be the official vampire if it's too late.
Whoa. Who's your official legal expert?
Suzanne Sherman.
Okay, I don't know her.
It's, one of these constitutional lawyers.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't give you the con law of everything, but you want some street smarts, some way to avoid alimony maybe, and a few other things. I'm your guy.
Okay. All right. Well, since we're already on that topic, when shows like Better Call Saul come on TV, or any of the other like assorted like typical legal dramas, do you think that makes more people want to be lawyers or more people want to be criminals?
Now that's a great question. Well, some would say,
or do I repeat myself?
Right. A distinction without a difference. Maybe that's the case, especially Better Call Saul. I don't know. I think some people, look, for the most part, the attorneys that have been on TV and over the years, it makes you want to be that kind of attorney, right? Or whatever. And that's never the reality for most people. So I don't know. I had a classmate who was going to school, specifically law school, so he said, to avoid these kind of things. Side note, he got indicted by the feds and was never able to practice law. So.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the little one of the little plot threads in the show is that he is barred from practicing for like a year or something like that. So, I mean, how common is that? Since you've already brought that up, are there a lot of people who they're getting dinged and now they're having to sit out for a year, or is it if you're having to go to court, it's probably not going to be a year, it's probably going to be lifetime?
So for the most part, like California here, and by the way, I can't talk too much in this. I actually, not me personally, but I had a legal assistant that was posing as an attorney. So that is an ongoing litigation right now. But it's typically gone through the Cal Bar. It is against the law to do that, to practice law without a license. And, for the libertarians out there, you may go, whoa, licensing boards, I get it. But we don't have to get into all that. You do have attorneys suspended for those kind of things, right? And then they don't have the practice law. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but my situation going after my legal assistant, what I don't even want to I should shut up right now.
Okay,
Tyler,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so just the simple fact that totally out of the side of your mouth, you've brought up not one, but two personal anecdotes of people getting in trouble. I'm going to assume it's everyone. It's 2 out of 3 since you're the third. 2 out of 3 people get in trouble.
Well, look, what's the joke? Look, it's the 99% of them that make a bad name for the 1% of us type of thing. I personally, I think I deal with me personally. I'm not raking in the money either. So if that's your deal, you're trying to really, get every dollar. I think that's when the crime starts happening. Plus, there is a high degree of alcoholism in the law practice. So those people, and I don't know if you watched the Murdaugh murders trial in Georgia recently. That guy had a pill addiction, right? And that's kind of what that whole through line of him being the bad guy. For the most part, I don't see that. I don't run in the high levels of counsel. So I go out there, make my money, try to come home, be a father, be a good guy, and then try to help people, because the family law stuff, which is trash, but I try to help people be better so that they don't fall into these problems too.
All right. So that's why that must be the reason for the stereotype of like the drunk Southern lawyer, because Southerners are already predisposed to be alcoholics and lawyers are predisposed to be alcoholics. Right. So that's, you're just doomed at that point.
Yeah. You have, it's genetic almost in a sense at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, since I already spoiled it a second ago, how many, what would you say is the number of times on average per week that you are referred to as Mr. Janke?
Well, Alon, and not all the time in court. That's what's actually good for me because I go to court a lot as a family law attorney. And the best thing I try to do is to tell my clients how things are going to play out. So when I go before a judge and the judge is the only one that's pronouncing my name right, they go, oh, this guy has some rapport there. And so it happens all the time. Matter to the point where my kids, they have the same last name. They even refer to it as Janke. So, and I'm like, it's perfectly fine. If I cared about how you pronounce my last name, I would have, slit my wrist years ago. You shouldn't care. It's the dumbest thing. So yeah, it's like someone insisting that you call them doctor or something like that.
Well, okay. So we're never going to get to these other questions. All right. So you're going to court a lot. You're involved in family law, which I'm sure can have drama, obviously, involved. Because there's lots of emotion and that sort of thing. But how often do you actually see those types of things in court versus it's basically you're just going through the motions because everything's kind of already been determined?
What do you mean by those things in court? Like the drama?
Yeah, the drama. Like how often are you going in court and they're having to hit the gavel because people are crying and wailing and yelling at each other? And
much more than you would expect. Some of the best things that have happened is I'm in court and I'm seeing this happen with people that are I'm just waiting to go. I'm next or whatever. I have so many stories. Thank you for bringing that. One guy's in there and he doesn't have an attorney. This is the good thing about having an attorney, right? A lot of times in family law, especially in California, there's so many people that are self-represented that they make the filings, it's all just forms in a sense. So it makes it easier for these people because, like, what do they say? About 80% of everyone that goes through family law at some point is self-represented. So they try to make it somewhat easy. But when that's also the case, you don't have someone advising you and to take the emotions out when you're sitting there in front of the judge. This guy's there, he's arguing, the judge is telling him to be right, and he goes, "Listen, lady." And she's like, "What?" And he goes, no, I meant that in a good way, like my grandma. And this is like not an old lady. And she just, the judge just lost it. So those are the kind of things I've seen the bailiffs have to take people out. Like some young girl was trying to attack someone else. The things happen like this all the time. There's other good stories. And I'll just say this real quick. This is a late night show, right? I could go a little raw. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
Is it permitted?
Yeah.
One of the first cases I was helping this lady. I came in on board as a assistant counsel, and then I kind of took over it. It was a 7-8 day trial, family law, where they were accusing our client of diddling the child. So they wanted all his computers, and people had a lot of money, all his computers and phones. So he destroys them all. And the reason he destroyed them all is because he and his wife he used to give her Ambien. And then as she was sound asleep, he would go in the back door. So
oh, my God.
I've never heard the word anal so much in the courtroom, but that's fascinating stuff.
See, all these things are just getting more and more questions. So that immediately made me think that, so how often do you go into court for a case, but other offenses and other cases get brought to light almost by accident because of some totally unrelated investigation?
Right. So that happens. And by the way, this just on a micro scale, if you're in court, there's certain things that the other party, like you have a witness on the stand, and there's certain things. So if I'm asking this person questions, the other side can only cross-examine them on what I've brought to light, right?
Sure.
So you don't want to open the door, as they say, to other issues. So that's one of the things you're always I tell clients all the time. I'm like, look, you are a piano. If I want a note, I only want to hear one note. I don't want to hear a song. Well, especially if it's cross-examined. You just say yes or no or whatever the question is. So that happens. That does happen where, you accidentally, the person is just blurting things out. Next thing you know, you're down a pathway that you didn't want to go. And it's could be a horrible circumstance. So, client control is a big deal.
So is that not when the lawyer gets to say, objection, Your Honor, my client's not here to defend himself about being on the grassy knoll in JFK like that? We're not here for that. Like, can the judge say we're not here for that? Or are they going to say, oh no, tell me more?
No, absolutely. So it depends what the issue is, right? And to sometimes people, and this is a problem you have with a client, which is you're preparing for court. Maybe it's one thing, So most states in the union now, and especially California, it's a no-fault state. So you don't get to say, this person was cheating on me, therefore I'm going to trial, or I shouldn't be divorced, or whatever the reason. The court doesn't matter, and people want to bring those things up all the time, and I'm just like, that's not important. So yeah, the judge will definitely say if it's not relevant or it's not at issue, stop you, or you should be objecting to these kind of things. And the judges, for the most part, they want to streamline things. Kind of keep it on the straight and narrow, and some of them, not all of
them. Would you say that sometimes the judges kind of give you a hand, so to speak, because they also don't want to just be sitting in that seat all day listening to BS, and so they kind of help the process along? Absolutely, you get good. So I only deal, for the most part, in 3 counties, and the reason I do that is so that I know those judges, and I'm before them. Like Sacramento County, I'll just tell them where I'm mostly at. There's about 8 courtrooms there for family law, so it depends on when you filed, what your number is, you get a different judge. But you know those ones, so it's important to know those things, because there's sometimes a judge I can really push against, and sometimes when you get a judge that's you can tell where they're going. I'm just like, we're not saying a word. We've already won this. I could tell by the demeanor and what he's saying, or she. And we're not saying anything more. And sometimes your client gets upset, and I'm like, sorry, we're going to win this right now. And that's the hardest part. So yes, judges, they loved it when you come to an agreement. And for the most part, there was one judge, and by the way, he was seen as libertarian, and he would
he would light the parents up. He once told them that these parents are arguing about their custody of their child, and they had another child that had died a few years ago. And he goes, the only one of these people in this whole relationship that's lucky, it's your dead child, because she doesn't have to listen to this. I was like,
wow.
I don't know that that's right.
That seems like an awfully inflammatory statement for the arbiter of the courtroom to be making.
It was a little bit shocking, but a lot of people might like him because a few years after this, he got implicated. He ran over a cyclist and killed them on driving his car. So I know a lot of libertarians would advocate for that. Me as a cyclist, I don't. But he seemed to be more loved in the community after that. So who knows?
Okay, well, since you already brought up the subject change, so do the cyclists ride in the middle of the goddamn road because they're assholes, or is it because they just can't stay in their neighborhood? They have to go out on the highway. Which one is it? I
live. Look, I've ridden all over the place. So I used to be pro years ago when I was younger, and traveled all over the U.S. and different places racing. And you train. You just don't ride out in the road. I mean, for the most part, there's a bike lane, right? And if there's not a bike lane, you're typically in either downtown, which you're dumb for riding in the first place, or you're more out in the country, and there's maybe not even the side of the white line's right there, and there's gravel. So you only ride one or two abreast at the most, and you keep it tight. It's your weekend warriors that go out there that they're not the biggest cyclists, but they're doing it enough. They don't know how to get real tight over to the side of the road. Somehow they think they're going to run the road. You're always going to lose in a conflict, conflicting with a car, right? Always. So don't be dumb like that. And I'm pretty good with those kind of things. And I have sympathy for car, drivers that hate the cyclists for that. But then a lot of the drivers are stupid themselves. And these people could not get out of a car and chase me down if they had to on their feet or on a bike. And they're just angry that I'm skinnier than them. That's some of the reality.
So how accurate is the statement, pedestrians have the right of way unless they in the way?
Oh man, I have a problem with a lot of I don't know all the law. If you're asking from a legal perspective, from a bully's perspective, that you're probably correct. And people need to look. I teach my kids this all the time. We're walking. By the way, this is one of my. It's not the cyclist, but it's a pedestrian. You're walking from the grocery store and you're walking out to your car. Do you walk down the middle of the road, or do you walk kind of close to the cars so other cars coming down the pathway there can park? Yes, you walk close to the cars and you look for cars backing out. Don't be an asshole. That's kind of the whole point here.
Well, I think that there's a certain type of person out there that they will do things because they believe they're in the right, even if it means that if like for instance, the example of the car and the cyclist, even if you're right, you're dead. So like, how right do you want to be? But there's an odd percentage of people that's how their brains function. Oh, well, I'm right, so I'm going to risk my life.
I think you just described the sovereign citizen. When they go to trial, I don't know if you ever watched the Darrell Brooks trial, the guy that ran over a bunch of people, kind of did the same thing. Hey, pedestrians are in the way. And then he used a sovereign citizen defense. Where was it? Was it in Wisconsin as well? I don't know, somewhere up there. Yeah, he was pathetic, and I'm not a big fan of that. And that's kind of the same thing. You're like, I'm going to audit the police and those kind of things. I get it. I like it. Those are fun. But at some point, I don't know what you're doing. You're putting yourself in danger, maybe.
Well, speaking of not knowing what you're doing, so let's talk a little bit about this show right here, the Libertarian Podcast Review. Now, Jesus Christ, I don't know how you can stay sane or sober for that matter. Oh, well, there you go. While consuming libertarian content and then kind of giving your 2 cents. So we'll start with an easy one. Have you come across any programs in the time that you've been doing the show, clips, whatever, and ever said to yourself, you know what this creative space needs is a lot more podcasts?
Why are you so mean, Alan? I don't understand it. Look, the premise of the show was I wanted to just talk. I wanted to do a podcast. I'd had a cycling podcast for years. COVID was happening. I was getting tired of kind of entertaining people I hated. a bunch of the cycling community, that is. So I wanted to do this, and I'm like, how do you get this? So I'm going to review shows. It's kind of a clip show. That'd be fun. Then you get those people on your show, which happens, and it's been great. One thing I've done a little bit is, because it's a bit rough, which is taking some shows maybe you don't like and just shredding them to bits, right? For the most part, I review stuff and we kind of like it, and it's good stuff. I have taken on Hannah Cox. She did some stuff that was just on family law. It was just really pathetic. And I just posted it on a members only page. So you could come in there, you could watch Andy and I just shred her to pieces. But I've been kind of putting some of those clips out because she tends to step in it all the time. She makes comments. It just happened. What was the guy's name for the Dodgers that was accused of rape and everything? Mm-hmm. So he comes out with this video now exonerating him. And I remember on one of her things, she's like, look, and she's trying to do it in a defense of women. Only 10% of rape allegations are false. And I'm like, whoa, 10? That's 10% of these women are just going out there blatantly saying that men are raping them, and it's completely false. That's a horrible, horrible thing to do. I don't know how I got on this topic. Alan, what are you doing? Why are you making me go down this route?
Well, I love that you brought up Hannah Cox, because she's going to come back up in our next segment.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Well, then I'll just stop right now.
Okay. All right, good. Well, speaking of that, you did a recent episode right here. I believe it was episode 121. It's your part one. Which are there any more ominous words than part one when it comes to podcasts? Leo Frank murder and the ADL. So I don't expect you to just recreate the podcast here on the show or anything. But for people who might be tuning in that they're not familiar with that name, they know what the ADL is, but they don't know anything else. They don't know why that guy's picture is right there. Can you kind of give them just the brief overview of what that topic is that you're taking on?
Absolutely. But what I'm going to say first is the reason why I'm doing it, because I hate it. Here's a great example. And if you guys want to come at me with hate, that's perfectly fine. Killdozer as an example. That guy, the libertarians love to show him as a guy that stood up to tyranny. No. He was mentally deranged. He was in the wrong. And he said God was commanding him to go and kill people with his killdozer. So understand a story, and that's kind of what's happened with the ADL situation, where they say, and the premise is it's in 1913 down in Atlanta. This girl gets murdered in this factory, this pencil factory, and Leo Frank is a Jewish man from the north that's down there running it, and he gets blamed for it. So they go to trial. He's convicted of murder. Then they appeal it 13 sometimes, even goes up to the Supreme Court. All of them saying, nope, he was guilty. We're rejecting all these claims. And then the governor commutes his sentence, and then he actually gets pulled out of jail and lynched. So the idea is, look, this is a Jewish man that was lynched for no reason at all, just because the South is so bad. But what you don't understand is he tried to pin, and he definitely was guilty. He tries to pin this on one black man, then he tries to pin it on another black man. Both of them end up testifying against him. So this is the South in 1913. After Reconstruction, it's the progressive era is kind of going, and it's not right. It's not good for black people necessarily. They're just barely getting able to even testify in trials. So this is the situation, and this gentleman from the north comes down there, and they still convict him in the face of him putting the blame on several black people. So I'm doing this case because it's fascinating to me, and we're going to walk through it. I've done one episode here. I did one with Jose Galison, kind of another one, and then Pete Quinones and I are going to kind of take this on from a different perspective. And some of it for me is walking through the trial itself, the appeals, which I think are fascinating. But, the ADL, they spent a ton of money. They got a bunch of money out of this. That's kind of their start that happened. Two things that come out of this, would like to say, which is so there's Ku Klux Klan. If you look at them, there's kind of three phases of the Ku Klux Klan. The early one was, phase one was kind of done in 1870. And part of that was with Reconstruction and outline some of their activities, and they were fine with it. And then the second phase comes along in 1915, right after this guy is lynched. And it's based on kind of the Leo Frank, the Jewish man, the lynching of him, and the murder of this girl. It kind of came out of there that the second phase happened. So when the ADL says, look, we were formed because of Leo Frank, who was in it, they say he was innocent. He never did this. And then then the KKK comes about this. So and you look back on this, the full arguments that they had, a lot of them to the Supreme Court, were that there was a mob mentality, that he was a Jewish man that wasn't getting his due process. But when you look at the times that it happened and all the news reports, and in the case itself, there was more. The N-word is said a lot in the trial transcripts. I'll say that. So the Jewish people were going after the black people, but no one else was really making a big deal about him being Jewish. But after the fact, they like to say that that's what the case was about, and therefore we needed the ADL. But anyway, so we're just trying to set the record straight and entertain.
Yeah, well, yeah, the infotainment part is obviously the important part.
Right.
Well, I think that it's interesting to point out. So he was found guilty. There's this extensive appeals process where he has continued to be found guilty. All the appeals are rejected, but his sentence was commuted by the governor. So could you really quickly say, why on earth was this objectively guilty person who was found guilty and all these appeals rejected over this extensive process then get a commutation by the governor?
Yeah, great question. So Governor Slayton was his name. He came into office right before the murder and then was just starting to head out. The defense counsel, by the way, if you put it in today's numbers, they had about $25 million for his defense. That's
wow.
Not that much in 1913, but if you put it in today's dollars, hell, if I'm going to trial, I don't think Rittenhouse had 25 million. So that's a lot of money that was poured into it. The defense counsel, they were also one of the first law firms to make over 6 figures a year, and they did that on average. They were huge. The governor commutes his sentence, leaves office within the next few weeks, goes to work for that law firm. So might be a little bit of a connection there. Now, I'll just say this: there was later developments in the 80s. One of these 14-year-old kids that did testified. He now says. By the way, he didn't say this in the 80s, but I think it was the 1960s. He started to come out and saying, "Oh, actually, one of these black men, he admitted to me that he actually killed this girl." So the ADL is pushing to have this whole thing pardoned. They end up doing they don't necessarily pardon him, but I'm trying to remember what the word is here. I don't know. The point is they don't do it based on this guy's claims that the black guy actually killed him. They reduce the sentence or commute the sentence, or the sentence. I need to get these words right for this specific one. But the point is, it was only because he was pulled out of the jail and murdered. And so the pardon board in Georgia said, you know what, we never should have let that happen, and it was done on our watch. Therefore, that's not good. But we're not saying he's not guilty.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll be the first one to admit that, yeah, when they allow, I don't know if that's really the right way to phrase it, but when they allow him to be pulled out of the jail and lynched, then that at least somewhat changes the context of the story.
Let me just say real quick here on this one, though, and it'll be super quick. I know this is your show. So the New York Times, Adolph Ochs, Chicago Tribune, I mean, who else? A bunch of big newspaper and from people from the North were really dumping money, and they were going and trying to support this guy. As soon as he was murdered, lynched, a lot of these people said, yeah, he seemed like a pervert to me. And no one was ever tried, convicted, arrested for his lynching, which you can maybe see that even in the North at the time, they were like, we're good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the objectively correct side of the war already lost. At least it let us have a lynching every now and then. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, you had a few.
All right. Guys, we're going to be back with more of Tyler Janke right after this commercial break. Don't go away. It's Too Late with Alan Mosley is proudly supported by Fox & Sons Coffee. Fans of It's Too Late use code ITL and receive 18% off orders of $25 or more. Shipping's always free on orders over $37.99, so get yours today at their website, which is www.foxandsons.com. It's www.foxandsons.com. back to the show, everybody. We are still here with our friend Tyler Janke. Tyler Janke. Yeah. I mean, nobody says Yankee. This is America, for God's sakes. It's a J sound,
Right, but being German, I kind of need to hold some of the was it street cred? I don't know, especially doing the thing about the ADL. By the way, if you were really supporting Fox and Sons, wouldn't you have a mug of them?
See, no. Actually, what I do is I just eat the beans.
Oh.
I just eat them. They're delicious, and they have these lovely little sniff holes, as I like to call them, in the back of the bag. So my whole room, just the aroma, it's exquisite.
All right. You don't have a sniff hole, do you? Did I say it's up all night?
All right. So anyway, moving on. So I forgot to ask you when we were talking about all that about why you hate Jews so much, but now that I know that you're German, it makes total fucking sense.
Right.
Something else that I wanted to talk to you about while you were here, since it's kind of current events news. So, big rippy to that lady on the left right there, Dianne Feinstein, who I think they just replaced her with someone even more stunning and brave. And of course, we have a couple of other candidates that might be joining her in hell soon enough. There's Mitch McConnell, and of course, President Joe Biden. Just as some examples. That's not a threat, by the way, for anyone, for the YouTube censors. That's not a threat. I'm just saying they're old. They're not going to live, Anyway, here's the question that I had for you, Tyler. In our community especially, you kind of have this split amongst the people who like to make memes and laugh when things like this happen, and the people who sort of still have this attitude of, well, look, I'm not trying to lose my job / lose my invite to the parties, therefore I don't revel in it. Do you think that it is right for people to celebrate the deaths of politicians like the aforementioned?
So I guess your question would be, do politicians have souls?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of, so yeah, it's fine to celebrate them. What's interesting is before I became a libertarian, now I don't know what I am. I'm kind of mostly that. I was more offended by people, like some right winger dies and you're like, oh, how could you do that and try to use that against them? And yet then, Ted Kennedy passes away and I had fireworks. It was great. And it's really more about your person and your tribe. How dare you? And I think it's the thing of, if you're religious and people start mocking your God, whatever, your saints and whatnot in there, that you take that a little bit more personal. So I don't anymore. And I'm like, okay, so you don't like it. I don't like it. A lot of bad things going on with all these people. Dianne Feinstein passing on. I mean, it's great that, her replacement, I'm super excited for, was it LaFonza? Was that who was in Napoleon Dynamite? I think she was really good in there. I did enjoy that. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. Well, of course, again, imagine my surprise after everything we've talked about that you didn't like someone named Feinstein. For Jesus Christ. I got to vet my guests a little bit more.
Right.
But I'll give you a couple examples since we kind of opened up this can of worms. So everybody will remember, I don't have the graphic handy right now, but everybody will remember, I think it was LP New Hampshire, the ones that posted when John McCain died, and it had a picture of his daughter, and it was like, what was it? Happy Father's Day? Is that what it is? Was that the
it was the death of McCain, and so they celebrated. Something.
And it was Happy Father's Day, I think, was the caption. And that kind of, so that was the classic example of, if I go on Twitter and I see libertarians as trending, I immediately cringe, thinking, I wonder what someone said this time, because it's either something that I'll genuinely think is funny, like that tweet, and it just pissed off a bunch of neocons, or it's something super cringy that someone who identifies as a libertarian said, and there you go. Now they're giving the 99%'s giving the 1% a bad name. But I'll also give you another example to get your thoughts on. You might remember, I guess this was maybe 2 years ago. Ron Paul had a medical episode live during a taping of his show. And I guess it was a stroke. I don't remember what exactly happened. And of course, he's fine. For everybody listening, imagine if he's not fine by the time this segment airs. Now I'm going to feel really bad. But when that happened, of course, there was mostly an outpouring of care and support. But Michael Malice.
There was one? Oh.
Michael Malice made a lot of stroke jokes directed at Ron Paul. And that naturally pissed off some folks, people that we would know by name were visibly upset. I think Ron Paul's right-hand man over there at the Liberty Report, and now his name just left my mind.
McAdams.
Daniel. Yeah, Daniel McAdams. Yeah. I mean, that was basically a permanent falling out. They're not friends. They don't speak. I don't know how good of friends they were in the first place, but it's like I'm actually hitting the block button. I hate you and I hope you die type situation, because obviously he's going to defend Ron against any and all attacks, and he considered this to be a personal attack and all that. So with that as the backdrop, I can get why the more meek among us would say, well, that's just not good policy. But on the other hand, I don't think that means, I know Michael Malice well enough to know that he doesn't hate Ron Paul. He was saying that because it's funny.
Yeah, and look, Dan McAdams is fine, but I've had some issues with him recently where he's kind of gone unhinged, and
Yes.
the reactions. And then the other day, it was just some insight. He's in the gym and he has this shirt on, and the reason he's saying, I don't know, something political or whatever. And Andy, my podcast buddy, he takes a screenshot of that because it was a pro-communist shirt. Now he's trying to piss off the whatevers, and so he ended up deleting the picture. But he makes some mistakes. My point is, I think the LPNH doing this with McCain. By the way, that week I had Dave Smith on my show, and I tried to confront him with this. And I think we kind of had this going on later with his rage on the Spaces with Jeremy Kauffman as well, which is I could see from a business perspective, I wouldn't do that kind of stuff with my business name, but I can do that with my own personal name. I have a law partner, and I'm definitely not tweeting out the kind of stuff because I don't want him getting smeared with it. So I get it from an LPNH standpoint. You're kind of more of a business style, so perhaps mellow out a little bit. But even then, I didn't really care. By the way, the Ron Paul thing, I thought you were going to bring up Nick Sarwark, because I think at the time he was also taking shots, but his weren't funny. His were almost a little bit more on the dire side. And I don't have a problem with Malice doing those kind of things. I mean, shoot, I had a bike wreck 2.5 years ago, broke my neck, and as I'm in the hospital, my friends are there. They're making jokes about it already. I mean, this is what you do. And I know maybe Malice isn't friends with Dr. Paul, but the context and the way people frame things. Now, Malice also got real upset with the LPNH. I understand back scenes because he's friends with Meghan McCain. So everyone's a little over the top, and they're sensitive about their personal issues. So we can all be hypocrites, I guess, at sometimes, as long as you recognize it. Maybe that's the deal you need.
Yeah, I get that. I don't know. I don't really have a dog in the fight, because I have been very vocal in whenever anyone ever says, hey, I spoke at the LPTN convention last year, and which is really weird, by the way, that they invited me, because I've gone public literally every day saying that they only need to have one resolution, which is disband the LP. That's the only one I support, and they invited me to speak. So really, it's their own damn fault.
Right? Did you propose that when you were there?
I didn't. You think they're going to let someone like me in the room where actual business is taking place?
Oh, okay.
Jesus, no. But anyway, it's just the fact that on the one hand, I totally get what you're saying, and absolutely, if it was going to affect me, professionally, I would think about what I was going to say, or affect other people around me in a material way. On the other hand, I think when it comes to LP business, I have such a low opinion of the whole charade, and I think the whole thing is such a total joke, that if one small wing of that whole apparatus can get any type of press at all, other than being a complete laughingstock, then I'm generally for it. That's kind of where I land.
And I've been on that exactly with you. I've been more along the LPNH bandwagon. But I could kind of see some of it from the other perspective. I could see why the LP is kind of like, whoa. So I'm fine with it.
All right. Well, on that note, we're starting to run a little bit short on time here. So before we forget, where can people go to support you and check out more of your content?
Probably the easiest place is go to Twitter. It's my full name, TYLERJANKE, or go to Rumble and just go LPR. Boom, it comes right up. That's probably one of the good ways too.
Oh, that's pretty good. I'm glad it doesn't come up like, lesbians positively, radiant or something ridiculous like that.
Who said it doesn't?
All right. Well, hey, anyway. So, all right, with that in mind, it's time for the bonus round. Are you ready?
Oh. Yeah.
Okay. So, say you're going to Olive Garden, which, I mean, you're German, so you might think that that's actually Italian food. So you're going to Olive Garden, and you know how they do? They come out with that enormous cold bowl of salad, and they're just plucking it out for you. And then they say, you know, say when, because they're going to grate a whole bunch of cheese and all that. All right, so I want you to visualize your giant bowl of salad from Olive Garden. And you've got your lettuce, and you've got your onions, and, you know, maybe you got some green peppers in there. Of course, you've got some carbs, you got some croutons, you know, maybe got some protein, maybe got some bacon bits in your salad. And of course, oh gosh, the cheese, they're just grating that cheese. And you don't even say when. You make the whole block run out. All right, with that in mind, are nachos a salad?
No.
Sorry. Oh God, we hate to hear that. Actually, it's incorrect. Nachos indeed are a salad.
By the way, you said last or one of the weeks, just recently, about soup being a cereal, and if you look up soup, it actually talks about heat. So you're wrong.
Okay, so you've never had cold soup before in your life?
Oh, I've been poor, sure.
Okay, well, there you go. Well, nachos are a poor man's salad. There you go.
You know, I answered too quick. I grew up with a thing we used to call like a taco salad, and it was basically nachos with, you know, extra stuff on there. I'm sorry, I failed this.
Yeah.
You didn't. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Well, now you've made me feel bad that you feel bad. So I'll give you a bonus one. Since you're looking up culinary definitions, I'll give you one that actually has a culinary answer. Is a grilled cheese, which is just the bread, melted cheese, fried up with maybe some butter, is a grilled cheese a melt?
Oh, geez. See, these are all tough for me, and the reason being is because as the alpha man in my house, my wife just fixes food and sets it in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say no.
That is correct. A grilled cheese is not a melt because the culinary definition says that for it to be a melt, it must have another product, such as a protein. Like if you add some ham in there, like a grilled cheese with ham, then it's a melt. It's not a grilled cheese.
Learning all kinds of stuff. I appreciate it.
Tyler Janke, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm a big fan, so I appreciate it. By the way, you were on Tom Woods, and I did not feature you on my Tom Woods
How
series.
dare you? Jesus Christ. See, that's the only reason I go on shows is so that if you won't review this train wreck, then I want to be on a train wreck you review with the explicit caption of "This was their worst episode." I have had people tell me that was the worst episode of Woods, was the first one that I was on.
Oh, I'll go check it out again then.
All right, guys, we're gonna be back to wrap up the show right after this commercial break. Don't go away.
If you're enjoying tonight's show, consider supporting the program by becoming a member of our Patreon. That's over at patreon.com/Alan Mosley.
Like our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Alan Mosley TV. You can follow me on Twitter. It's twitter.com/Alan Mosley TV. Subscribe to our YouTube page. It's youtube.com/Alan Mosley TV. But if you're more of a listener than a watcher, you can get us on your favorite podcast platform of choice thanks to Spotify. Spotify, It's Too Late with Alan Mosley, or @Alan Mosley TV.
Oh.
See, he's trying to one up me with the mug, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Repping the merch.
Yeah. I've outfoxed you. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Hold on, I got something else too. This came in the mail today.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Yeah. Do a little.
Oh, you got the Rip-A-Verse.
Yeah, do a little quick unboxing, even though I kind of already did it earlier today, but we'll do it again anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at. By the way, holy shit! Like, look at this packaging. Yeah.
That is fancy.
And it's so that when
I thought
you
it was
get
empty.
No. You get this pristine. Look at that.
Oh, that is slick.
Yeah. Look at that. That's
you
amazing.
You write your little note in there?
I don't even want to open it. I'm just like, yeah.
Don't crack the spine.
Yeah. Don't. This one's just for looking.
Mm-hmm.
and if you look on the front, it's whites versus blacks.
Of course.
So yeah, of course. Yes, I'm looking forward
Made you a
to that.
character?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow up with him on that. I want to be a villain in the Riververse. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be a hero. Jesus, you know. All right, Dave, you have a final thought?
Yeah, real quick. That was a very entertaining interview. Spicy at points. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you've never heard anal that much in the courtroom, Dave?
Not personally, no.
All right, but you've heard of it. I've
been subpoenaed, but yeah. No.
Yeah. After party?
I guess real quick.
Yeah, just a short one. For people that don't know, the after party is only on Twitch. You got to go to twitch.tv/AlanMosleyTV, and that's where the after party is, and that's where me and Dave get a little.
Oh yeah.
Get a little handsy, and just see what happens. Dave's already doing it right now. Yeah. Go ahead and unbutton another button.
Oh, this one actually, I don't even have a button there.
Oh.
More black underneath.
Must your hair a little bit. Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah. Hold on.
Oh, we should end the show.
Yeah. No.
I mean,
I'm not in the right scene. We're missing everything.
Oh
Yeah.
damn.
There
We're
we go. Yeah.
well over time. We should probably.
Oh, I see you're wearing a black bra underneath. That is my favorite color.
We gotta keep them under control.
Yeah. All right.
This is after party talk.
Yeah. All right. Tyler says that he has to go ask his teenage kids how that works to go get on Twitch.
It is scary.
Freaking boomer. My God. That's where all the even Steve is over on Twitch right now, Tyler. If Steve can do it, anyone can do it. I've learned if you shake it up first, then you get yeah.
Releases.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for watching another episode of It's Too Late, and we will see you next week. I meant that in a good way.
Forgot to talk about how much the coffee tastes like honey.
Yeah, even though he came on the show and said that's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he messaged me again. Yeah.
Oh, he did. That's great.
I forgot. I actually forgot that they can still hear us.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Glad I'm a nice guy.
Yeah. I'm glad that the only people that watch the show are the guests and sponsors.
Mm-hmm.